Hello everybody and welcome back to Build Mal MTG. If you are new, my name is Austin and today we are going over top 5 commander cards that I play that I think are great. And let's hop right in. Oh, but before we get into it, please subscribe. Build Mal MTG just hit 356 subscribers and it would really help my small channel out a bunch. So yeah, please drop a like and subscribe. Alright, so the first card is Boreous Charger. So I'm super excited to talk about this card, but first it is market price 19 cents, so definitely can go in every deck, and I think it has a place in a lot of decks, so let me explain why. So for 2 and a white, you get a 2/1 Flying Pegasus, so for 3, a 2/1 Flyer is not like a horrible body, so that already is great. And it says, when Boreous Charger leaves the battlefield, choose an opponent who controls more lands than you. Search your library for a number of plains cards equal to the difference. Reveal them. Put one of them onto the battlefield tapped, and the rest in your hand, then shuffle. Okay, so the bad news is this does need to die for this to happen. But that is not a big deal. There's a ton of ways to have creatures die, obviously. Board wipes happen. Probably like once on average in a normal commander game. I don't know about your guys' playgroup, but definitely mine. But yeah, so first of all, the body is good, especially if you're in like an attacker's deck. You know, that's great. Get in some extra damage. It's flying too, so that's just going to be annoying. And then start attacking someone who can kill it, and if they decide to kill it, then you're just going to grab a bunch of planes, put one of them onto the battlefield tapped, and fill your hand up with lands. That's great, and this card is only 19 cents, so yeah, that's why I think it's good. Alright, next card up on the list is Zergo Helm Smasher. So this is kind of a wild card, but yeah, we'll go over it. So market price is 62 cents. Okay, so Zergo Helm Smasher, we're looking at it in the 99, not as a commander, by the way, but you could run this as a commander. So for 2 red, white, and black, you get a 7/2 haste. Zergo Helm Smasher attacks each combat if able, and Zergo Helm Smasher has indestructible as long as it's your turn. Whenever a creature dealt damage by Zergo this turn dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Zergo Helm Smasher. Okay, so you drop this down for 5, and you already have a 7/2 haste indestructible. So what I'm thinking this card would go in is definitely like a Voltron deck, because you could just equip this thing up. It has indestructible during your turn, so the low toughness does not affect it. And then if they do decide to block, this is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger because it gets +1/+1 counters, and it can attack right away. So they're not going to see this coming if you just destroy them on turn 5 for 7 damage. That's going to be crazy. So yeah, that's why I think this card is cool. You give it a try in your decks. I don't know. Next up on the list is Clack Troll. I love this card, and I think it's very, very good. So it does have market price 30 cents, and yeah, I'm super excited to talk about this. All right, so for 3 and 2 black, so for 5, you get a Trample Haste 8/8. When Clackbridge Troll enters the battlefield, target opponent creates 3/0/1 white goat creature tokens, and at the beginning of combat on your turn, any opponent may sacrifice a creature. If a player does, tap Clackbridge Troll, you gain 3 life, and you draw a card. Okay, so the downside to this card, obviously, is that you are giving one of your opponents 3/0/1s, and then any of your opponents can sacrifice a creature, and if they do, then you tap it, you gain 3 life, and you draw a card. But here's why I think this card's great. So you play this, you give the 3 tokens to whoever's doing the worst on the battlefield, obviously. Then you go to attack, and you can even make some deals maybe. Like, if you don't sacrifice a creature, I won't attack you with this, or something like that. But when you play this, it is an 8/8 Trample Haste, which is insane for 5 mana. That's crazy. That's a crazy body. That's a ton of damage. And it has trample, so they obviously can't jump block. And then if they do decide to sacrifice a creature, you know, they're shrinking their board, and you do gain 3 life and draw a card. So The only way that I see this going bad for you is if your opponent like wants to sacrifice stuff, which does happen a bit, but I don't think it's going to hurt you more than gaining the 3 life and drawing cards. So either way, you win off this card, and then next turn they just have to deal with it again. So yeah, that's why I think this card's great. Alright, next up on the list is Tidal Barracuda. So, Tidal Barracuda is, first of all, its market price $1.32, so not incredibly expensive. So Tidal Barracuda is for 3 and a blue, so for 4 you get a 3/4 creature fish. Any player may cast spells as though they had flash. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. Okay, so I feel like to play this card in your deck, you have to care more than your opponents would care about casting cards whenever you want to. But there's a lot of decks that this would benefit you way more than your opponents. But also, they can't cast spells during your turn. So your opponents are going to be casting all their spells like whenever they want to, as long as it's not on your turn. So you're already on the advantage with this card. So if you have it in your deck, you know you're going to play to this ability because your opponents haven't, like, they don't design their deck around this, obviously. So it's going to help you way more than your opponents, and we all know how powerful casting spells with flash are. Like Vidalcan Orrery is heavily played in Commander, and yeah, it's just a really powerful card because that ability of your opponents having no idea what you're doing is just really powerful. So yeah, that's why this is on here, and you are on the advantage with this. So yeah. And the last card on the list is kind of expensive, but I do think it's worth it. It is Pattern of Rebirth. So it has a market price $5.74, which is pretty spendy, at least for me. But let me explain why this card is amazing. So for 3 and a green, you get an enchantment aura. It says enchant creature. When enchanted creature dies, that creature's controller may search their library for a creature card, put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle their library. So basically, I was thinking that you could put this on your commander that you are going to be attacking with or something like that. So I would see this going in like my, let's see, Finn the Fanebearer deck or like Chatterfane Squirrel General. This could help out a ton. And then your opponents have this incentive not to kill your commander. So, because if they end up doing that, you're going to get any creature you want, like, out of your library. That's insane. There's like, you can build your deck around this, put some giant creatures in your deck. So I'm especially thinking about this in, like, yeah, Finn the Fanebearer, because you want to attack with him, or a deck like that. But any green deck, you have, like, the option to put in a massive creature that can just win the game if it enters. So then your opponents are not going to want to kill your creature. So then you can just kind of freely attack in, or just have it, you know, like this. If you kill my creature, I'm going to get a ton of advantage. So yeah, that's why I think this card's great. And that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.